We live in a slave world where both masters and slaves are suffering. Sure, it's definitely better to be a master in some circumstances. It's better to be a slave in other circumstances, but both are suffering. Both have relative happiness and relative sad, but no one has freedom. That's how the world could be in the horrible shape it's in. That's why empires are collapsing. The old order is crumbling. Because there's no freedom here. In the process of waking up to realizing the truth, we start to see through the different illusions. One of the illusions we see through is that we're in control. As if we actually control what's going to happen or will happen or is happening. As if there's someone in charge who knows and acts and is free. Free. We believe that we are free and independent beings able to choose and create the trajectory of our lives. But the problem is the context that our freedom arises in. So if you're in prison, you have certain choices. You could eat the food or not eat the food. You can go to the exercise yard, or you can you can work out with the weights, you can get a book from the library, you can get into a fight, you can just hang out, you can do drugs. But all those choices happen. Now it seems like there's freedom of choice. I can choose to read a book, or I could choose to do smack, or I can choose to work out. But all those choices are happening in a very small box. The box of prison. Prison actually is what controls the destiny of the prisoner. Tells you when to get up, when to go to sleep, when to eat, when to get in line. And then you have all freedom of choice within that. You have freedom to eat or not eat. So if when you recognize that each one of us is living in prison, then all the choices we make are the choices of a prisoner. And yeah, there's creating your free will and your choice to do this and not that in the context of a prison. And most of us make deals. We want to get the cushiest job we can get, the cushiest position, the best cell. We want accessories in our cell. We want a TV and stereo. And we try to accessorize to make it the best possible experience, of course, naturally. But all of that is working within the understanding that you're a prisoner. We don't work within that understanding in this world. We live in a world prison. We live in a slave world where both masters and slaves are suffering. Sure, it's definitely better to be a master in some circumstances. It's better to be a slave in other circumstances, but both are suffering. Both have relative happiness and relative sad, but no one has freedom. That's how the world could be in the horrible shape it's in. That's why empires are collapsing. The old order is crumbling. Because there's no freedom here. And we all know it on some level. Some of us are more easily bought off than others. The ones who refuse to be bought off are often eliminated in one way or another. Put into prison or killed or given a deal you can't refuse. But we're here for a jailbreak. it's possible to, that's the only choice of free will that a prisoner can make, is to be free and to give your life for freedom. Once that choice is made, you make it irrevocably, which means it's not sometimes. It's not, well, I want to be free and I want to be free, but it's much more immediate and profound. It's giving your life for freedom. If you can't be a slave anymore, if you refuse to be a prisoner, if you refuse to be bound. But first you have to see where you are bound. Because most people think it's good enough, and for most people it is good enough. You have enough security, you have enough friendship, you have enough love, you have enough success, and people settle there. But in your heart you realize it's just better furnishings for the jail cell. Something burning and alive in your heart is calling you. I must be free. That's why we're here. We're here to support that in each other. We're here to be the flame of freedom burning in your heart. It's already alive and burning. Your job is just to take everything that's between the burning and who you believe you are and let it burn. Give yourself to the fire of freedom. It's an existential plunge into the unknown because you've never done it before and you don't know what it will be like. But you have to be free.